Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the tune Afternoon in Paris, written by the pianist John Lewis in 1949. This version that I'm basing my arrangement off of is the version by the Kinney Barron Quartet. I like this version because they have this nice syncopated way of playing the melody where they start on 4 and. So we're going to be breaking down the melody today and also at the same time talking about how we can solo over these changes, okay? So let's get into it. We start off with a C major 7th chord, and we start off on 4 and. Now right there, that's when we're switching keys to B flat major. So what's happening here is we are in the key of C major first, but then we're switching to a C minor 7th, F7 to B flat major 7th. That is a 2-5-1 in the key of B flat. So what you want to practice is first get your C major scale down. You can get it in any position. We're going to be playing around the same position that I'm playing the melody. So our C major scale. It's right there. And then we're going to switch to a C Dorian mode. This brings us to the key of B flat. Now that works for the F7 as well, which would be an F Mixolydian mode. It's the same thing, same key, both coming from the B flat major scale. So you would want to practice that position, and then you can go back and practice the same major scale that we did on C, but right here on B flat. Okay, so at that point, we're going to be doing the same pattern. We're going to switch that to minor. It's going to be Dorian, another 2-5-1 to A flat major at that point. So here's your B flat Dorian mode. Also the E flat Mixolydian, same thing. And then your A flat major scale. Okay, so far the melody is going through all these modes as well. We've got, we're switching right here. And then here's the B flat. Switching again. There's A flat. Now right here, we're switching to a 2-5-1 to C major, except we're going to make it a D minor 7 flat 5 to the G7 to C major 7. At this point, I like to think of this as an F minor, so an F minor to a G7 to a C major 7. You can kind of think of that as being a minor 4 chord, or you can even play an F Dorian mode over that as well. You can play an E flat major scale. There's a lot of different options you can play over this chord. You can also just practice the arpeggio for that D minor 7 flat 5. It's a good one to practice. And then go into G and play any of your G Mixolydian or G altered scales. I'm not going to be going too far into the altered scales for the 7th chords today. I do have a separate video, which I would advise you to check out. I'll link that above, how to solo over altered dominant chords. And basically you can use any of those techniques on any of these 7th chords that resolve to the 1 chord. So that's the F7 that resolves to B flat. That's also the E flat that resolves to A flat, okay? And the G7 that resolves to C. So you can use any of those altered dominant scales, such as the whole tone scale, the melodic minor scale, etc. So check out that video. All right, let's start back from the melody. We resolve on the 3rd of C. Okay, that's the E note, the 3rd of C. And then we just start over again, adding one additional note, a C note. Okay, at this point, we're going into the bridge. The melody is very simple. It's just walking up the C major scale. Now what's cool about this bridge is we have a 2-5-1 to C, but we're keeping G in the bass. So there's a G pedal, which means that G is going to be playing in the bass while we change chords underneath. So we have our D minor 7 to G7. You can play your D Dorian. That works for both chords. Over the G7, you can play G Mixolydian. And then your C major scale. That's all the same scale. Okay, so it's all the same scale there. Now, of course, like I said, over the G7 chord, you can employ any of those altered tensions. So you can play the flat 9, flat 13, any of that stuff. So again, I go over all that stuff in the altered dominant video. So once you're done practicing all this stuff, I would definitely advise you to go work on those altered tensions as well, and then try to apply them into this song over the dominant 7th chords that resolve to the 1 chord. Okay, so after that, we basically have a A7, which is going to bring us back to the 2 chord, bring us back to D. So you can play an A7 Mixolydian would work over this, but I would play one of those altered scales over the A7 to get you back to D minor. Then we have another 2-5, D minor to G, but we're not going to go to C this time. We're going to take a half step approach and do D flat to G flat, and then up a half step, D minor to G7. So these are both 2-5s that don't resolve. So you would want to practice the Dorian or the Mixolydian for both of these. So D flat Dorian. That would work over both the D flat minor 7th and the G7. And then just take that up a half step and play the D Dorian mode again to the G7 or any of the altered scales for G7. So after that, you're back to the last A section, and it just repeats everything. So let's play the melody one more time for the A section. And there you go. You can add another turnaround at the end. So a turnaround in this case would be a 1-6-2-5, or any other version of a turnaround that you can think of. You can apply that at the end of the tune, and then you would go back to the beginning, take a solo or however many solos you want, and then play the melody again after the solos, and there you go. That's Afternoon in Paris.